What is going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be showing off a DRYTRON deck profile post info. I said I would do this, so I might as well do it. I've been play testing a lot and I've been trying out some different ideas, so anything you can do to help in the comments, give me a shout and let me know. So DRYTRON New 2, I should be running 3, and I'll show you what you can take out for the third one. I just don't have a third one, but DRYTRON New seems to be working pretty well. Okay, so this is a really good card. This is the same. It can't be normal summon or second. Be search with all the normal stuff that DRYTRON does search, like emergency and Nova and stuff. So it's special summons itself. It has the effect that when it's special summoned, it can search for a DRYTRON monster. It does have the effect that if it special summons itself from the graveyard, if you control a DRYTRON monster, you're locked into machine ritual monsters, which means you can't summon your Ben 10, which is fine. The whole deck kind of revolves around that now, because this card is so good. So basically, this is kind of your one start card combo, because this card, let's say a Nova is your one card start, and I suppose Nova's special summons this searches out your Alpha. Alpha can get rid of this to search a ritual monster. New 2 can special summon itself back. You can go into then move a Fafnir, which can send another DRYTRON, and then you can pitch that ritual monster from your hand with that other DRYTRON to keep your plays going. So that's the basic premise of the card. Okay, you have 3 Zeta, and that is your ritual search card. So for those of you who don't know, I'm sure everybody knows what DRYTRON does. I'll just explain it real quick. They all have the same basic effect, and that is to pitch a ritual monster or another DRYTRON monster from your hand or field to special summon this card from hand or grave. And then it gets a particular effect. So this Zeta particularly searches for a ritual spell. Then Alpha searches for a ritual monster. But again, very good card, special summons itself. It's your kind of main go-to card, but it searches. You can search any ritual monster. You can search your Ben 10 and then get a search from that, you know. So I'm running 2 Gamma, but feel free to take one of the Gamma out for a third New 2. Gamma basically just uses your Mu Beta Fafnir. I do like 2 in the deck though, so I don't know. I might try and change something else, but Mu Beta Fafnir is your ritual or your XC, and it's kind of a one card one once you have one in the grave. So he special summons another DRYTRON from the grave, and you can just go into your XC plays that way. The one Delta. Delta just basically helps you draw a card. If you reveal a ritual monster or ritual spell, you get to draw a card. It's a nice card. This card is one of the cards I've been testing. This is Bright Knight Ursatron Alpha. So this one is a search card for your DRYTRON spell. So you can actually use New 2 to search this card if you already have your combo pieces. You can search it with New 2 and then special summon it because New 2 is on the field, and then you can search for a Nova, or you can search for the ritual spell, or you can search for the field spell, depending on what you're looking for. So it's a really, really good card. Also has 2000. Okay, so the reason normally you wouldn't run Quarantids, I think that's how you said name. Normally you wouldn't run that, but because you're locked into machines with New 2, you run this card now. You can use it just for to be pitched. You're only running 1, so it's very hard to draw. If you do draw it, it's not completely dead because you can use it for a DRYTRON monster's cost. But yeah, so like if I didn't have this, I would be running Natasha, but I just have Natasha in the side deck at the moment. But again, because New 2 like makes you stuck, you can't really do much. But yeah, I'll just go over what 3 of them do. For those of you who don't know, this is the new DAD DA Draconids. And what this one does is you can banish DRYTRON monsters in your grave in multiples of attack. And if your opponent, let's say your opponent has 1900 search card, just for 1800 Sharaos, you can banish one of those 2000 the DRYTRON monsters because they have more attack, and you can negate that. So you can do that up to twice per turn. And that's its effect, pretty much. It can't be destroyed by card effects as well, which is pretty nice. So you kind of have a towers. Quadrantids, yeah, destroys all spells and traps on the field. So it's good. And then Draconids can banish DRYTRONs in the grave and destroy cards your opponent controls during your opponent's turn. So yeah, so it's still very, very good cards. So you kind of want to end with the main play I'll show you. You can end with like 5 or 6 interruptions or negates, which is pretty cool, especially with the new dad. So like you just have him in defense, and you'd have Dawn Dragster, Ben 10 basically when it's used as cost sent to the graveyard. You get to search for a fairy type, self-explanatory. The 3 Herald. 3 Herald. Herald sends a monster from the extra deck to change its level, but you can send 2 particular things we're sending. So we're sending Herald of Arclight, which gets you a search for a ritual spell or trap, and then Entis, which gets you destruction if you manage to search or draw the second one for a follow-up turn. The 1 Vanity's Ruler. Yeah, Ben 10 searches this, and you don't use your normal summon Bard Diviner. So if you don't get Diviner, or your opponent just has a special summon heavy deck, you can just summon this and kind of stop your opponent from doing anything. Next, we have Non-Engine. Feel free to change Effect Vader for something like Imperm or whatever else is being used. Definitely Ash is always good, but it kind of depends on what everybody's using. I would have my Imperms, but I have them in a different deck, so I'm just showing you Effect Vader for a monster negate. 3 Nova. Nova is like that now, 1 card starter, because you can summon, like I said, new 2. New 2 gets a search. Alpha sends new 2. New 2 special itself back. Yeah, search for ritual. So it's a really, really good card. It's probably the only pricey card left in the deck. 2 Fafnir, because again, Fafnir now is a 1 card starter. Because you just add Nova, and then Nova does your plays, like I just said. Ritual spell that's searchable through Zeta, so you'd only need to run 1. I had discussed on running 2, and I don't know. Maybe there's a space for it somewhere. I'm not sure. 3 Emergency, because it searches all of your DRYTRON monsters. Foolish, because all of your DRYTRONs work in the grave. 1 Call by the Grave, just to stop opponent's hand traps. And then the last card, I'll give you a second to guess. Okay, it's Ghost Trick Shot. So you know we're running the extra deck. The extra deck space is super tight. We have Beta Fafnir. So Fafnir has the effect. It can be used more than just 2 level 1s. You can use 3 or 4 depending on what you need or what you have. But you basically get to send a DRYTRON from deck to grave, and then that can activate its effects. It also has a spell and trap negate if there is a machine ritual. So that's one of your interruptions as well. So you'd have Dad with basically 2 monster negates. Dawn Dragster with a spell and trap negate. Beta Fafnir with a spell and trap negate, as well as an interruption, which are machine rituals. You have Downard, and you have Zeus. And the reason being is, let's say you use one of these and you only have 1 material or even no materials. You can go on top for Downard, and then it has to attack, and then you can go into Zeus, and then Zeus can have its effects and needs 2 materials to go off on it. So it's basically Dull in Hand. And what Dull in Hand does is you use it with 2 monsters, and you overlay on top for Angel of Mischief. And then Angel of Mischief, once you get rid of material, which you would get rid of Dull in Hand, you get to search for that Ghost Trick card I just showed you. Ghost Trick Shot, I think it's called. Which special summons back Dull in Hand. And then you get to overlay on top for another Angel of Mischief, and you have 2. Then you would overlay for the 2 of those for your Topic Future. And then overlay on top of that for Draco Future, which is another negate, as well as a very hard card or difficult card to get over. Like you see, it runs a lot of extra deck space that could be well utilized in other ways. For instance, I'll just show you an honorable mention. Dynamundo. I would like to have this card in the deck, but there is no space for it. It essentially, essentially what you would do with Dynamundo is you would use the Dad card, have a Dynamundo, and then go into Dad again, and it would basically get 4 negates. But I don't think you need it, so that's why I took it out. Entis to send with Diviner. An Arclight to send with Diviner. Like I said, a search and a destruction. Destroy. FA Dawn Dragster, because Diviner sends either of Entis or Arclight, and it becomes a 6, and your DRYTRONs are 1, so you would just put this and get a spell and trap negate, as well as your Dad card. Relinquished Anima. I mean, I like the card. It means it gets some of the card if you search or special summon something, and you need to get rid of a DRYTRON monster. Let's say you did summon new 2 and you want to get rid of it. You could summon Anima, and then you can special summon whatever else you need. I'm not sure. Maybe Anima is the card I get rid of for Dynamundo. I don't know. Let me know. IP. Normally what you do is you would end on IP as well in the extra monster zone, and then you can use IP If your negates are gone with dad, you could use IP and dad, or you could use it with, if your Mube as empty, no materials either, not working, you can just use it off and go for a Appaloosa, which is more negates. So hence why I didn't really think you need Dynamundo, but maybe Dynamundo is a better card than Relinquish Anima. Like that, you can let me know. Okay, few other cards I would have liked to run with a Beatrice. So the way you make Beatrice is, the reason I don't have Beatrice now is because Mewtwo locks you into machines, so you can't ritual Ben 10. So what you would do is you ritual summon Ben 10 and have your diviner. You can still do it, and then you could go into Ben 10 and diviner, overlay it for Beatrice, and get your plays going, because you're able to send all your Drytrons from the deck to the extra deck during your turn and your opponent's turn. One Natasha, just because it's a really good card. You gain life points if sent to the graveyard. You can banish a Ben 10 from the grave and then special summon and then steal one of your opponent's monsters. Pretty nice. The old fairy package, which is to send another fairy. Obviously, we're not running as many fairies now, hence why it's not a really good hand trap anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I just like the card. But these can be anything else, like that. Side decks are up. Just a kind of a D barrier that a lot of people aren't running. Board breaker, so Dark Ruler no more. If you want to change this to Cosmic Cyclone, change it to Cosmic Cyclone. And then an evenly match, because just as like board breakers. So yeah, so that's it for the deck profile, guys. Let me please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and